Hi there, I hope you're having a lovely day. Today, we're gonna be talking about Jimmy Fallon. Or as I like to call him, Jimmy Felon, because of how many felons he has on his late night show. I cannot stand Jimmy Fallon. Fallon, oh my gosh, now I'm not gonna know which one to say. Okay, I cannot stand Jimmy because I feel that he is a very performative male who tries to target his audience to be accepted by the liberals, but he's kind of like how the leftists view Dean Withers. But like, I'm not comparing him to Dean Withers. As a leftist, when I see Dean Withers, I'm like, do I always agree with him? No. But sometimes he makes really good points. But it doesn't mean I like the man. It just means he makes good points. And at least he hates Trump. But to what extent does he hate Trump? Because we're gonna get there. I don't really know why I brought Dean Withers under the bus there. Sorry, Dean. Anyways, Jimmy Fallon is a 51-year-old man who I'm sure everyone watching this knows who he is. But let's say on the off chance that you don't, I'm gonna give you a brief, quick rundown like I usually do. Jimmy Fallon's a 51-year-old man, and he is known for making late night shows where he basically has celebrities come on to his show and they talk to one another, they ask questions. It's usually whoever's currently in the media. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. They come, they talk together, they play games. If it's a singer, sometimes the artist performs. There's this whole thing. It's fun, it's cute, it's a vibe, or is it? Let's get into that. Okay, sorry, I had to reference Rhett and Link there. I love them. You get the rundown. The problem stems though is, who is Jimmy letting on his show? What have these people done? Is he platforming these people? Because he is. He's giving a platform to these people who aren't the best. And then we're gonna dive into Jimmy himself and see if it's really that shocking when you know it all. Let's go. I would say Gen Z has become more into Jimmy Fallon lately due to the fact that he publicly hates Donald Trump, Donald Trump's the United States president, unfortunately. And Jimmy basically makes rap songs, kind of. I feel like a lot of Gen Z has seen Jimmy too as just a good man that speaks against Trump, and he's not scared of Trump, which is like, great. Okay, I hate Trump too, but does that make you as a person good because you also hate like him? Like, just because you and I don't like paper doesn't make you any less of a rock, if you know what I mean. The first mini part we're going to get into is the Trump part. That's what Jimmy's known for, especially for today. We're gonna get into it. The reason a lot of people hate Donald Trump, and the list is very long, but I'm going to be using some of these things against Jimmy, so this is going to make sense. So stay with me for pointing out these specific things that Trump has done. 1, Donald Trump is a known, with that being said, I need you to remember this. He's a racist, and I'm going to use these two topics to really get my point across on why Jimmy Fallon is so two-faced. I'm going to show you one of these songs that Jimmy has made about Trump before in the past. I don't really know. That's the reason he goes viral on TikTok, because he mocks Trump. There's a lot of comments here that say like, I love how much Fallon hates Trump. Jimmy Fallon's so great. How about Jimmy for president? Jimmy Fallon is basically claiming here that he knows Trump is on the Epstein files, and that's why this is one of the big reasons why he's mocking him and so many people hate him. He's very aware of this. Epstein files is very known for culture. So Jimmy, if that's the case, why'd you have Conor McGregor, a convicted rapist, on your show recently? Next topic. We're gonna get a little bit into this topic a little bit more. Like I said before, Trump is he's a rapist. This happened a very long time ago, but it still happened. When knowing this, Jimmy Fallon had Donald Trump appear on his late night show right after his first term, which, if you're not aware what a term is, it's basically when someone runs for presidency, they win, they've served their first term, which is 4 years, and then they're obviously allowed to then run for a second term. Second term is the most you can possibly do. So this consists of a total of 8 years, but it is in 4-year increments. With that being said, Jimmy Fallon, after Trump's first term was served, impeached, where he, in my opinion, was too friendly with Trump, considering how much he hates and wants to call them out. Why did you have him on your show in the first place? You're not legally obligated to. You weren't held at gunpoint. You didn't have to. But you provided a platform for Donald Trump right before he went to his second election for his second term. Why would you do that? Why would that ever be okay? And then I'm going to show a video too of Jimmy rubbing his Donald Trump's hair. Like, this is some funny thing.
Donald, I want to ask you, because the next time I see you, you could be the president of the United States. I just wanted to know if there's something we could do that's just not presidential, really, or something that we can do now that we're just both civilians. Like
what? This is... I'm not liking the sound of this. Go ahead.
Can I mess your hair up? I'll be gentle. I'll be gentle.
As long... The answer is yes, but the people in New Hampshire, where I'm going to be in about an hour from now, I hope they're going to understand. Okay?
You say yes?
Go ahead with my hairspray.
And there's a convicted sitting there with you right now. And you're being all buddy-buddy with him, even though you claim to hate the guy so much. If you hated him, why'd you have him on your show, Jimmy? Or do you just hate him when it's relevant enough for, you know, to need to cover up your name because of all the bad things that we're going to get into? Maybe that's why. I'm really not sure, but, you know, it's interesting. Maybe he just hates Trump now because it's trending. Perhaps. I mean, if you're gonna commit, Jimmy, you need to commit. We're gonna get into the second topic. This is a very heavy topic. So, specifically, if you're not comfortable watching this topic, you might want to skip. I am going to mention heavy topics. There is a man by the name of Conor McGregor. He is a professional fighter. Conor McGregor in 2024 was found guilty by Irish law to be a convicted. He raped a woman by the name, and admitted to this, Nikita, who was so badly that they had to surgically remove the tampon that was found in her because it was so far up here. And McGregor admitted to this. He was found guilty for it. There was proof and everything. This is a real thing that happened very recently. 2024 is not a late period of time. This is very recent. And he abused her, physically beat her, and her. This man shouldn't be allowed to have a career. This man should have gotten death penalty. But Jimmy, who claims to hate like Trump, he had Conor McGregor on his late night show recently. And I think that that was the breaking point for a lot of people to then realize the truth about Jimmy, how he really isn't this good person he makes himself to look like, and he isn't this idle liberal. that he is just as bad as Trump, and he really agrees with a lot of things that Trump agrees with. He's just too big of a it. And I want to say that there's no way Conor McGregor could have starred on this late night show without someone knowing. Like, there's no way this could have gone on under the radar or anything. These people were very aware that this happened. They do a lot of research beforehand, and yet they still had this man on this show. And Jimmy provided a platform for this man. A platform for a racist. Because that's what Jimmy does. He doesn't care. And in this interview, Jimmy is basically drooling over this man sitting in his seat. Because the thing is, there are a lot of terrible men who do things like Conor, but then there are a lot more commonly men who just wish they had the balls to do what he did. And so they worship him in a way that they have to kind of discreetly do it, but you can tell that they're doing it. And it doesn't make you any better. It's interesting. Like, you can say all day you don't agree with these things, but then when you allow yourself to be around these people because you want to, and it's fun and it's cute and it's your vibe and you see nothing wrong with it, and it's, oh, they're just people at the end of the day, that makes you just as bad as them. And so when you hang out with convicted rapists, Jimmy, what does that say about you? Jimmy's fans have pressed this man so hard too about an apology, and he has yet to say anything. As far as I'm aware, this video, obviously, who knows, but yeah, he said nothing. He's apologized for nothing because he doesn't care. He doesn't care, and he's not a cool guy that understands you, and he's a millionaire, just like every other, millionaire that's stupid as shit and does these things and doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about you. And just because he says he hates Trump doesn't mean he cares about you, okay? He hates Trump because Trump is a trend to hate in his world. But he doesn't hate McGregor. That's not trending. And he knows he's gonna get away with it, just like he gets away with everything else on this list. But the thing about Jimmy is not a discriminator. Jimmy does not discriminate. And that's one thing you cannot say about him. He does not discriminate because he loves inviting all kinds of people. No matter what, you can come to his platform. You have somewhere to come. You have somewhere to build your name. For example, if you're horrible and you emotionally abuse Britney Spears, you can get invited to Justin Timberlake to star on the Jimmy Fallon show. In fact, Justin, you're gonna be his best friend because they have this bromance going on, because he doesn't discriminate. If you physically abuse women, he doesn't care. He accepts you. That's why Chris Brown was on his show and sung on his show. He accepts cheaters, like Ariana Grande, for example. How many times has she been on a show, and how many marriages has she ruined? And his favorite group to not discriminate from are Zionist. Because he eats you guys up. And that's one thing you can say about Jimmy. Everyone else might have morals, but he will not. No, he won't. No. Because if you're a Zionist and you're proud and you're being denied by everybody else who has morals, don't worry, Jimmy's got you. And they did it at my favorite vegan joint. He doesn't discriminate. Well, unless of course you're black. Because, oh yeah, Jimmy did blackface. Say what? I think that's crazy that no one has ever talked about this in like a big public eye. In 2000 on SNL, Jimmy did blackface. Yes, blackface. Maybe that's why Jimmy lets anyone on his show, because he doesn't care about anyone except himself. So just like Trump is a racist, and he doesn't like racist, Jimmy Fallon's also racist because he did blackface. You idiot. Are you not putting two and two together? And if you are, you're not the idiot, you're catching on. And he's a racist. He looks up to racism. He platforms racism. He's just as bad as Trump sometimes. But who cares? Because as long as he makes cool, trendy raps, no one really cares. As far as I'm aware, About 10 years later, after it resurfaced, Jimmy did apologize. And I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere Chris Rock saying that he didn't care and it was fine. I don't really care what Chris Rock says about this, because at the end of the day, it's not okay and it's racist. And it's blackface, which is an extremely derogatory, racist thing to do. For someone who hates so much racist people like Trump, you sure do it yourself. And you're probably like, you know, Lexi, just because Jimmy was racist doesn't mean he's racist now. What a bummer. I didn't even think about that. Except maybe I did. Racism comes when you hate an entire race and you're okay and you hate this race so much that you want to get rid of them. It sounds very similar, to Zionism. Because Zionism is racism. The idea of wiping out an entire race, including children and elders and everyone in between, is racism. It's a genocide and it's racism. Jimmy Fallon is a Zionist. Jimmy Fallon has shown his immense support for Israel for many years now, showing again and again and again that the system that he hates on is a system that he lives by and the system that he supports. And who loves Benjamin more than Trump? Probably Jimmy. Because at the end of the day, they're very similar to one another. And he can get online and he can make every video he wants about hating Donald Trump. But at the end of the day, maybe you just hate what you see because you will relate with it. Maybe you're scared if you don't show enough hate for them, you're going to be the next person on their list, Jimmy. You're going to be the next person that everyone's talking about. You're going to be the one everyone hates on. Or maybe you won't be. Because you're a rich, privileged white man who gets whatever you want. Just like Donald Trump. And that's why Donald Trump is still in office and he's not arrested for his crimes. And he lives a day-to-day life and he gets what he wants. Just like you, Jimmy. I'm going to show the proof of Jimmy obviously supporting Israel. Jimmy, in these photos I'm going to show, you can see that publicly Jimmy follows the IDF on social media. The IDF that murders children, elders, families because of their race. And then obviously after the 2023 attacks became more into light, Jimmy said this at his live show.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the show, everybody. I just want to send our love to everyone affected by the attacks in Israel over the weekend. By now we've all seen the terrible images coming out of there, and our hearts go out to everyone who's been impacted. We have a great show tonight. They are
Jimmy Fallon is a prime example of why a lot of rich white men love the system, even though they act like they hate the system. And no matter how many times that rich white man gets on here and tries to convince us he hates that system that Donald Trump lives by, that system covers his ass every day. And that's why Jimmy has a platform. Because of that system that he quote unquote hates. Jimmy is just as bad as Donald Trump. Jimmy basically is and could be a Trumpy. But no one would hate on him unless he said he was. That's the interesting part. Jimmy Fallon is a horrible person who platforms horrible, horrible people. He doesn't care. No matter how many times he tries to look relevant and act like he cares, he doesn't. And it's really unfortunate. I think for me specifically, I actually quite enjoyed Jimmy Fallon's night shows and his interviews, but nonetheless, you can't trust a millionaire. And I guess this teaches you every day that there's always going to be somebody who claims that they love life and they vote life, but then they're okay with people losing their lives and a genocide going on in front of their face. Okay, I think this is probably going to be the end of this video. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting video title and video topic. Because I myself personally would never have thought these things about Jimmy, but you know, it goes to show you can't trust everyone. You can't really trust anyone. If you have a comment or anything, or have any thought, like a thought about anything, let me know. Or again, if you have any ideas of what you want to see a video about, I'm kind of interested in doing videos about history. I don't know if I'll ever, you know, get to doing that, but at least for right now, I'm kind of interested in that idea. So if you're interested, let me know. But I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed my video, and you have an amazing day. Okay, bye.